Hello, I'm Wendy De Rosa, and I am the founder of the School of Intuitive Studies, also a best-selling author and teacher of intuition and an intuitive energy healer. I'm so glad you are here for this workshop. So I would love for you to really carve out your time right now and free yourself from any distractions, turn off your phone and any dings, beeps, in any way that your attention might be pulled out of yourself, and really give yourself this time right now, because we're going to be going through a lot of material. And I'm the type of teacher who teaches very clearly and through transmission, meaning you feel it in your system as you're receiving this information. And I'd love for you to really get it on a deep level as we move through this material. I'm also going to be taking you through a few guided experiences, some going inward, and you need that space to do that in. So take this time right now for you. And I imagine, first of all, that you are here because you are being called to a deeper level of healing for yourself. And perhaps you also feel called to heal others or to help others. And maybe you want to integrate intuitive healing into your body of work if you're already a practitioner, or perhaps you would like to start a practice as a healer. I imagine also that you recognize that to thrive as a healer, you are needing to embody more of your divine self, more of who you're here to be, and to really receive and actualize that calling that you have from within to bring your gifts forward and to support others. You're also, as an intuitive, I want to let you know that you are uniquely gifted. If you relate to being intuitive or relate to being empathic, there is a way that your energy system is working in yourself and in the world that is vibrant. It's attuned, meaning it's waking up and it's activated. And you are also going to need to know more information about that. The gift of being intuitive is a blessing, and there's also challenges with it. On one hand, you may sense energy in the room, and on the other hand, you may feel vulnerable and easily taking on energy and having difficulty with boundaries. This sensitivity to others can create an overwhelming feeling. It can create ungroundedness, confusion, distrust in your own wisdom, and also the feelings of unworthiness. At the same time, I believe that our souls have incarnated here on this earth for a reason and a purpose, and consciousness continues to be rising on the planet right now. People are waking up to our gifts, and now is the time for us to recognize in our gifts we are being triggered to understand our gifts more fully. And that's very important to know, is that if you're having experiences of overwhelm, if you're having experiences of confusion and sort of an out of control feeling with your intuition, these are triggers inviting you to understand more about your intuition and what's going on in your body. Also, your personal healing, and this is important, that healing work coincides with intuitive development. And so it's very possible that as your gifts are emerging and you're waking up, so is your need for healing and the blocks and the wounds that are surfacing for you to see and look at and connect with as you're learning more and discovering about your intuition. So these are important aspects that we're going to be connecting with here in this workshop. So once you discover how your intuitive gifts and are working, first of all, and how you're mastering or holding your energetic boundaries, you will be able to stop absorbing energy. You will be able to stop the feeling of out of control or confusion around your intuitive ability, and you will be able to support other people. And it's just a matter of understanding what's going on in your body around your intuition. So during our time together here, I'm going to share with you how you can become an intuitive healer and incorporate intuitive healing into your work with clients, or creating your own healing practice for yourself. And to do that, I need to be able to support you with a foundation of information that we're going to be talking about in this program around how intuition's working in your body. So you'll be introduced to some practical skills for opening up that full range of intuitive abilities. And you will also learn some concepts and be taken through an experiential and how this energy is working in your body, how your intuition is working in your body. What's also important to know is that our intuition corresponds with the chakras. So we'll be talking more about that as well. All this information is vital for empaths and intuitives and anyone who describes themselves as sensitive. And again, please know that it is time. It is time for you to understand your intuition, to wake up to your intuitive abilities and your gifts, and to respond to that inner calling. So I'm excited to be here with you in this workshop to give you more information so that you can understand yourself better and what's going on in your body. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start laying a little more foundation here. I'm going to talk about the energy body and the chakras because it's important in relation to intuition. But first, before we go there, I want to share with you the 4 aspects of intuition. And I want to help you understand how your energy body is sensing energy and information, and how your system is taking in that information, so that you can open up to understanding that intuition is more than just a voice. It's a full range of experience in the body. And this is where I want to unpack this more for you to give you more information. So here's where we'll begin. I'm someone who, as a healer, I work from the ground up in the body, and that's important. It's important because the lower chakras in the body and our lower body intuition is actually part of how we relate in the world, and it's grounding. And so here's what I'll explain is that there are 4 aspects of intuition, and they are clairsentient, which is the feeling sense. That sense is also known as the empathic sense. Okay, this is important because the word empath gets thrown around a lot, and not all aspects of intuition are the empathic one. So we're going to differentiate. So this felt sense is your clairsentient sense, and we feel energetically, we feel emotions, we feel what people are not feeling and what gets displaced. We feel the collective, we feel the fear, we feel what's going on under the table. So it's not spoken perhaps or clear. It might be under the table and a bit enmeshed, or just simply not claimed energy. Then we have our claircognizant sense, and that's our sense of knowing. And I'll talk about this, but the sense of knowing relates specifically to our back body and how our soul is immediately receiving intuitive information, downloads, or what we'll say, sometimes I use the word or the phrase intuitive hits. And so these intuitive hits happen, but the body responds. So it might be a knowing. People who relate to this will say, I don't know why I know, I just know. And I get the feeling of knowing. And then there might be body sensations like chills, or there might be a stomach ache, or, ooh, I just have a sense in my gut. It feels visceral to the claircognizant sense in our body. Some people will have physical symptoms like they'll get a headache, they'll get dizzy, they'll have a response in the body to energy. This is the claircognizant sense. And then these aspects of intuition are a lower body intuition. And also, I just want to clarify that claircognizance isn't only lower body, it does span the energy body. But it relates to how we are activating in our back body, how we're receiving information through the back body awareness, and it informs the rest of our body. So when we start to move up into the upper body, we are talking about our clairaudience. This is upper body intuition. Clairaudience relates to the throat chakra. So this is how I'm receiving my higher guidance from my divine channel of grace. And the throat chakra, it's specifically the backside of the throat chakra. It's how we listen. Front side is how we express. Back side is how we are intuitively listening. So it might be our higher guidance, which is essentially how we're receiving from our higher self or from our spirit guides and angels, which feed our channel of grace. And we're receiving that information. Also, we're also deeply listening to our lower guidance, which would be our inner child or sometimes our body. So these are the auditory sense. They come through words and messages specifically, as opposed to feelings. Like I'm hearing a word, I'm getting a message. This information sometimes even comes through music or sound healing is very auditorily part of that the clairaudience sense. We're receiving healing on an auditory level or receiving messages on that auditory level. Then we have our clairvoyant sense, and that's our third eye. That's our sixth chakra here. And it's our ability to envision and see and gain higher perspective about a situation. It's also where we might, on an energetic, intuitive level, we see pictures and images, and how we're translating those pictures and images. Sometimes that happens in dream states. Sometimes that happens in very awake and lucid moments. Sometimes we get a flash in a moment of a visual that comes. And what's interesting is that, this visionary sense is very clear for visionaries, people who hold high positions in companies or in managerial roles will be high visionaries, high clairvoyance. They may not use that term, but that's an aspect of being able to see the big picture of what's going on and be able to even see between the lines a little bit. Those are aspects of our clairvoyant sense. It's also our higher knowing, our higher intuition, and that also we can connect here to our downloads. We're receiving our downloads of I'm receiving. People who do receive downloads understand this terminology, but just to be clear, it's, wow, this just came through me. I don't know where it came from. This is upper body intuition. And we have lower body intuition. Again, that's more the empathic sense. Upper body intuition is more the psychic sense in the body. And we need both in our system, and they work together. Too much upper body has consequences. In the body, we can be very disembodied and disconnected from our lower chakras. And too much lower body puts us in codependency and enmeshment and entanglement with energy in the world. So we actually need both in our system to be able to function as a full-bodied intuitive. So just to be clear here, as we're moving forward through this workshop, I wanted to be able to give you this foundation of what's going on and the clairsenses in our body energetically. And so to anchor this in a little bit more deeply into the body, because again, I believe in intuitive work, we can hear information cognitively and we can take it in to our body, and we can take that in, but then there's the integration of it. Then there's the embodiment of it. So I'm going to have you take a moment and close your eyes, and we're going to go through exactly what I just explained here on an energetic level. So take a moment, close your eyes, and bring your awareness to your lower belly area. And we're going to relate this clairsentient sense in our body to the awareness that we feel energy on a subtle level. And you might say, well, I feel it in the heart, or I feel it somewhere else in the energy body. And that may be true. but where we take in the subconscious energy, the energy we can't necessarily sometimes name, is actually the job of the second chakra in the pelvis. It's the part of us that feels energy, feels what's beneath the table, feels the unspoken. It's very, very subtle. And this power of the clairsentient, the felt sense, is very related often to the front of the lower chakras. And then we have this beautiful back body, the back side of our chakras, and this beautiful shower of grace or pillar of light. And I'm going to invite you to lean back into that for a moment and get plugged in to this beautiful flow. And the activation of that grace moving through your being ignites your soul's presence. And there's almost as if the soul becomes animated when there's an intuitive sense. When the soul becomes animated, it starts to communicate through our lower body and then sometimes our heart. And this is our claircognizant sense. And this deeper sense of knowing in the body is when our soul gets activated and we start to open up the sense of presence in our body. My intuition just expanded in my belly, expanded in my pelvis perhaps, or expanded in my heart, and I'm getting a sense of knowing. And then sometimes coinciding with that, sometimes and not always, but we have, as we lean back into that waterfall of grace, we're also activating the backside of the throat chakra, deep listening. So we're coming out of frontal lobe and out of the front body awareness and leaning back into this waterfall of grace. And that waterfall is flow. And it flows down to you, spiritual light, higher knowing and all knowing, which doesn't necessarily have to come from outside of you. It can be coming from your higher self. It also can be coming from being in tune with your inner child. And then with that activation between the grace flowing down and into the back side of your channel of grace, your pillar of light in your body, there's also the back side of your head, which is the back side of your third eye or your sixth chakra. And this is your visionary sense. That as you come into this channel of grace, the potential is that you're opening up your perception, your higher perception, which may or may not come through pictures and images. But the clairvoyant sense relates to pictures and images also. And so we'll just ask that this beautiful channel of grace in your body, the pillar of light, be sourced and fueled as it encompasses these aspects of your intuition in your body. And we're going to stay with this awareness as even as you open your eyes, just that awareness of I'm centered in that my intuition works in these different areas of my body. And we'll just ask for light to surround you in protection and light to surround myself in protection. Just a beautiful bubble of light. for each of us. And then very slowly, we're going to come back into connection here and I'm going to say a few more things. So as you're ready, you can open your eyes. It always takes me a minute to open my eyes and come back in from a deep connection meditation. So take your time. And I'm going to say a couple of things. So in our energy system, some common questions that come up when we're looking at intuition is, well, I see, but I don't feel, or I feel, but I don't see, or I don't hear, or I don't see or hear or feel, but I know. The sense is I have one aspect or three or four, all four of them. Sometimes we have all four of them and it's overwhelming. And so what I'd say here is that I mentioned earlier that healing and intuitive development go hand in hand. So what that means is that in energy work, so when we're moving through our chakras in our body and we're moving through understanding our intuition, ultimately we can be blocked in a particular sense, in a clair sense. And it's because there actually is a block in that chakra. And the block is a word for wounds. The blocks can be unprocessed emotions, they can be belief systems, they can be imprinting from your childhood, from past lives, from your soul's spiritual DNA, what you came into this world with, from a life experience that happened recently that had impact in your energy body. And it also can be from long-standing patterns that have developed and you formed that particular way in your body. So to the degree that our chakras are affected, our intuition is also affected. So you could, for example, come into this world as a very profoundly connected empathic being, meaning you feel energy, and at the same time there wasn't the context for you to understand that you're a feeler and that you might have had to have boundaries modeled for you. And instead you got a lot of projection of energy or nobody taking responsibility and energy coming at you because nobody's claiming it or taking responsibility for it, for the adults. And then here you are as this really beautiful empathic being in the world, learning that it is not safe for me to feel. I feel everything. I got so impacted that now I'm going through the world knowing that it's not okay for me to feel. So I have to shut down. And instead of staying present in there, now my spirit has lifted up in my body and I've disconnected from my lower chakras. And I've learned to be high functioning in the world with an excessive amount of spiritual presence, your soul and prana, life force energy, in your upper chakras instead of your evened out between your upper and your lower. Someone might have come, you also might have come into this world with a strong clairvoyant sense, saw too much as a child. It was too big, it was too much. I got to shut it down. Can't do it. In order to survive and cope in the world, I have to learn to shut some parts of myself down so that I can exist and coexist with people and beings as I move forward into this world. Well, the result of that is where we're going next, is that we block ourselves in our power centers, in our chakras. And this starts to impact how we relate on an intuitive level in the world. So earlier I was talking about the lower chakras and how the empathic sense relates to the lower chakras. And so here's what happens in the body is that the first three power centers of our chakra system they are our empathic sense. Our first chakra is our doorway to safety, survival, grounding, sense of self, trust, and being in our bodies. And it also houses how we feel safe, it houses our conditioning around being safe and trusting in the world. Well, if I've been raised in an environment where my root chakra, it wasn't safe for me to be myself, my root chakra is going to contract. My second chakra will blow open. My third chakra will blow open because there is a knot. There's a closure. at the base of the body. It's not allowing enough flow, and the energy has to go somewhere. So the beautiful compensation that the body does is blow open. And when we blow open or we become imbalanced in our second and third chakras, the result of that is hypervigilance. We become hypervigilant, hyper in tuned. We start to pay attention to what's going on a subtle level so that we can find safety and feel safety, and we adjust our behaviors accordingly. One of the ways we do that is we over caretake, we absorb, we keep the peace, we shut ourselves down to our own emotions and pay attention to others so that we can learn how to survive and maneuver in the world. The result of that is an empath who becomes overly empathic, who starts to absorb way too much energy in the world around them. What that then does is we become congested and we lose our sense of self. When we lose our sense of self and I can't feel myself, I don't know myself, I don't know where I begin and end in relation to someone else, we also lose our sense of knowing, which is the claircognizant sense. You can't have the sense of knowing if you don't know yourself, if you can't feel that sense of knowing in yourself, in your body. Those who resonate with claircognizance will say, well, I do get that sense of knowing, and that puts you in, I know in myself. I know, I know, I know. But what happens when we haven't been raised around support and validation in our intuition is that we discount our knowing. We override it. We doubt it. We don't trust it. And then we beat ourselves up later. I knew it. Why? I knew. Why didn't I? I should have listened to myself. We end up repairing a lot of chaos when we don't listen to ourselves. So the second that claircognizant relates to the back body, and it communicates through our chakras into the front body. That can be backside of lower chakras. It can also be backside of upper chakras in the body. Our clairaudient sense, I explained this, it's the throat chakra. Oh, let me back up to say this. The heart chakra is often that claircognizant sense, which is also the sense of calling. I'm called to. I don't know why. It's not rational. It's a calling to whatever it is, to taking care of yourself in a particular way, or also to, following a vision, a dream, a desire. And so that also we can receive our guidance through the back of our heart or through our heart, as well as where we're going next, which is the throat chakra. The throat chakra is where we have our clairaudient sense, our deep sense of listening, and the front side where we communicate and express that higher guidance that comes through. When we block ourselves here and we don't speak, we actually can go into a head spin on an energetic level. The energy stays high up in the head when we don't express it. So I always recommend to people who feel they get the higher guidance, if it feels like I don't know who to speak it to or what to speak, write it down. Just get it flowing, write it through, express it, paint it, sing it, laugh it, get it moving through your system. Okay, the backside of your third eye area, and in the center and through the third eye front is our clairvoyant sense. And so as we lean back into that beautiful waterfall of grace and we're receiving and we're going into our meditation and we're slowing our pace down, it's possible that pictures and images come. Sometimes we have to wait for them for a long time. Sometimes some people, get them quicker than others. And so what happens here in the body, this is how the chakras relate to our clairs. At the same time, we can be very significantly congested and blocked from years and years of not processing our wounds, not necessarily being conscious to the fact that, okay, I've got a lot of history, and usually our history is below the belt in the energy body. And I'm starting to feel that my issues, my wounds aren't staying submerged anymore. They're not staying suppressed. They're popping up. They're showing up. Life experiences are happening where there's chaos and there's triggers and there's dynamics between people. And all of this is pointing to, where am I needing to heal in myself so that I can emerge into the world, and so that I can be more true in myself. And I want to say this, is that the central channel of our being is where we ultimately need to expand into the world. It's where ultimately, that's what we're clearing so that we can become more actualized in who we're here to be. That's the emerging of light from the central channel. It's the radiance, it's the glow, it's the inner protection. A lot of times with empaths and intuitives, we say, put a lot of protection around the outside of your body. Great, it works. It works for a period of time. But the true protection comes from the emerging of presence in the central channel of the body. And so what happens is technically nothing should be in that central channel but us and God, us and the divine in union. But we're human beings, and lots of things get into the central channel. And when they do, they become very core issues, core wounds, and they affect our intuition. And what happens here is that we are called into a healing journey at some point, and we start to move those wounds from the center, from the core wounds that got into the core. We start to move them out of central channel as we become more present to healing them. And as we do that, they become less embodied, and we identify less as them. We start to see, actually, no, I am truth. I am light. I am here to, be who I'm here to be, whatever that may be. That emerging of light in the central channel fuels the chakras. Out of fueling the chakras, it fuels our intuition, and we start to become more present, embodied, and integrated with our intuitive abilities, with our intuitive powers, as opposed to out of control with them, confused by them, and negotiating internal space with wounded energy. That's often what happens in our energy system. So this process of healing energy, clearing blocks in the body, and intuition coincide for the purpose of emerging the intuitive light, or the true light, the pillar of light in your body, so that you can ultimately actualize your true self here in this world. So from here, we're going to do another brief guided practice. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. We're going to embody what we just talked about. Take some deep breaths, and I want you to imagine in this moment that you have a strong grounding cord presence secure around your hips, your sit bones, your low belly, low spine, this powerful tree trunk or pillar of light, and it secures your low body and extends down deep through the layers of the earth, spreading its roots deep into the core and anchoring you here. And then you have this beautiful pillar of light and grace in your body that goes from the crown of your head down to your tailbone and merges in with the grounding cord. And then at the base of your body, your beautiful root chakra, although there may be healing that's needed to attend in this area, root chakra is often where we need to go for healing, our history. But in this moment, we're going to ask that you breathe into the awareness of, I am safe. It's safe for me to embody myself. And we'll let that root chakra very gently unfurl. And as your root chakra unfurls, we're going to let your second chakra and third chakras come into balance. Not too open, not leaking out, not closed. But that these three power centers, first, second, and third. The second's in your pelvis, the third is at the solar plexus region. That they come into balance. And they form a strong sense of self. I am embodying my power in these lower chakras. And as you embody your power in your lower chakras, that line of energy, that presence of the pillar coming down through those lower chakras starts to increase a sense of strength in a way that gives rise to the base of your heart. As if your heart can now rest on the pedestal of power, of presence in your lower chakras. Shoulder blades can relax down your back. Your heart can be buoyant, but it's supported by the rise of presence in your lower body. And if your throat chakra has been too far forward in the front, too open, you'll call that presence back in, your energy back in, leaning back into that waterfall of light and allowing the front and back sides of your throat to be balanced. If it was closed, then you're doing the same here. We're just balancing the sense of expression and listening. When to talk, when to listen. When to reach outward for help, when to deeply listen to yourself. And then the third eye, the sixth chakra, the same. We're balancing the front side and the back side. And allowing this shower of light to bring all your power centers into balance in the front and back sides, so that grace, this beautiful flow in your body, increases its luminosity, brightening your chakras, balancing them, and also supporting your intuition through the power that emerges here. I pray that you are centered and aligned through this practice, and that as this light flows, it expands beyond your central channel into your arms, legs, flowing throughout your entire body, filling you up with illuminant light and grace, and that it extends beyond your physical body out into your auric field, brightening the light all the way around the outside of your body. So that there's this beautiful protective bubble of light around you, which is typically purple, because purple, the layer of the auric field that is purple, is your natural auric layer for protection. And we'll ask for that to be engaged, protecting you from outer energy that doesn't serve you, and also allowing you to integrate this healing in our work today. I pray that you are grounded in your body, and that my energy is grounded in my body. And I give thanks for this opportunity to be of service here in the highest way that I may be. And I pray that you stay connected to the light of your true heart every step of the way. And thank you for allowing me to guide you in this practice. And so very slowly, we'll invite you to come back here into this space. Strengthening your intuition is a process of healing and training. It's a process of coming back into the well and soaking yourself in this work, and then going out into the world and seeing what shifts as you change, as you transform within yourself. And so if you would like to experience more of this and a deeper, more holistic level of healing and intuitive awareness, I'm passionate about developing healthy intuitives, healthy intuition, not just one aspect of intuition, but the entire energy body, so that you are actualizing yourself in the world in a powerful way, because the world needs you. It needs more people integrated and powerful on a sensitivity level and with their gifts to contribute to the rise of consciousness and to help heal what's going on the planet right now, individually and on a collective level. So if you know you want to integrate intuitive healing into your existing practice, or launch your own healing practice or your coaching business, you want to integrate this level of depth into your work, I offer a powerful training called the Intuitive Healer Training Program and Certification. And it supports you deeply in this way. This is the deep work. If you want to do the deep work, I'm your girl. I'm your teacher. So and I'm sure you'll get that through this work that we've been doing so far. We're working at a very deep level because it is important to go to that deeper level instead of just, staying on the surface with intuitive training. So what this is it's a year-long in-depth training program where you receive weekly teachings from me in a community of healers. And the tradition I come from is a spiritual one. It comes from yoga philosophy, my spiritual downloads, case studies. I've been working as an intuitive for 24 years now, over 24 years now. And I'm very careful. I'm a very conscientious, careful teacher in that it was handed down to me, the practice, and I believe in the handed down model of the practice. And I want to teach you very carefully and mindfully and with personal responsibility and integrity. So what we're going to be doing in this unique training, here's what I'll explain what you'll be learning. First of all, is to repattern your energy system and dissolve energy patterns that are held lower in the body that have kept you stuck and disempowered. In other words, we are reparenting your lower chakras from what you were given, what doesn't serve you anymore. We're going through a major reparenting process. Next, you're going to understand how intuition works in your body, deepening your intuition on all of its forms, the clairsentient, clairvoyant, claircognizant, clairaudience. There's a lot of training that needs to happen in those aspects. We'll be going into that. Learn how to facilitate healing and transformation in others using your intuitive gifts. So how are you going to facilitate this work for others? It'll happen first through your own embodiment, and then you take it to others. Next, you're going to receive energy healing tools that you can integrate into your work with clients. You will start healing karma and imprints and complete soul contracts through your energy body and through receiving higher guidance. So we're going to be doing a lot of soul healing as well as deep energy healing in the body. Clearing contracts, past lives, working with cords, all the energy tools you're going to be learning. You'll also be discerning true intuition from the ego's desires and mental chatter. So that part that doubts yourself or undermines you, we'll be working with that. We will reveal the path to your soul's wisdom and your soul's purpose here on this earth. You're also going to learn to communicate with spirit guides and angels and other forms of divine guidance very mindfully in a very clear, healthy, and integrated way. I have particulars around this because in truth, the information is there within you, and I want to support you in what this whole connection with spirit guides and angels really is and what it means and how you stay embodied in that process. Also, you are going to thrive as a divinely connected individual, no longer consumed by longing or wounding, and instead you'll be supported in living from your full power and your wisdom. People come out of this training program saying things like, I don't know where I would be if I didn't take this program. Holy cow, I am a transformed being from beginning to end. It's very, very powerful, this program. So also in this program, you'll not only receive weekly teachings and regular healings from me, you'll also be supported by a team of trained healers who are graduates of the School of Intuitive Studies and this training program. I want my teachings to be accessible to everyone, so I've structured the program in 3 levels. So there's a level 1, 2, and 3, and you can register for the entire program or take one level at a time. I've also created payment plans to meet practitioners' needs, especially those who would like to write it off for educational and training purposes. That is available for you. And when you apply now, we have a few exciting and special offers for you. So first off, when you apply, you're going to receive a 30-minute coaching session with one of our trained intuitive healers to focus on an area or particular challenge in your life that you need support in right now. Next, you are also going to receive a brand new bonus. So I created for you a recorded special video teaching and guided healing entitled 3 Keys to Embodying Your Intuitive Healing Gifts. You can refer back to this healing anytime, again and again, and clear what's blocking you from fully stepping into your power. So I'm very excited. It's a really powerful bonus and training. So I am looking forward to sharing that with you and you receiving that depth work as well. And there is one more. We normally have a $100 application fee when you apply to this program. And for now, for you, we are waiving this fee for anyone attending this workshop today. So if you're listening to this now, we're going to waive that fee so that when you apply to the Intuitive Healer Training Program and certification today, you're going to receive a 30-minute coaching with an intuitive healer, the exclusive 3 Keys to Embody Your Intuitive Healing Gift videos, and we'll waive the application fee. All you need to do is click on the link in this page that says apply, or you can visit schoolofintuitivestudies.com/become an intuitive healer. So once again, you're going to click on this page that says apply, or you are going to visit schoolofintuitivestudies.com/become an intuitive healer. So I hope that this supported you. I hope it gave you deeper awareness and knowledge and wisdom about your intuition. More than anything, I truly believe it's important to connect with your teacher and feel a resonance with it. So if anything, I hope it supported you in feeling a resonance and building trust and being able to understand yourself and have some context for what you've been experiencing as an intuitive. So if you'd like to connect deeper and deepen your training with me, I would love to have you in the program. So go ahead and apply, and I look forward to our continued connection.